I got into bodybuilding, kind of got into it by accident. I started working in a gym, and one of the personal trainers there told me about this the thing called a fitness model, and I had no idea what a fitness model was. And he said basically the explanation he gave was it's the guys on the front of the magazines, like Men's Health, Muscle and Fitness, Men's Fitness, stuff like that. It's less, aggressive looking. So I thought, right, well, he showed me a couple of pictures. I was like, oh well, I kind of look like that already. So that doesn't seem too, unfeasible. And he told me there's a fitness model competition coming up. And again, I'd never heard of competing. Obviously I knew a bit about bodybuilding because of like Arnold Schwarzenegger and stuff like that, but I didn't know there's fitness model competitions. So he said you should just enter it, and I thought, right, okay, I have no idea what I need to do, blah blah blah. But I found out the information, went down to like the little seminar thing that they held before it, and I entered the competition and I won. I came first, and then I came second, I think, overall. And I thought, oh, this is kind of cool. I like this. And then I started training and started getting a bit bigger, and then people, in the gym were complimenting me and saying like, oh, how do you train your chest? How do you train your, all these random people are coming up to me and asking how I train. So I thought, well, I must be doing something right if all these people are coming over and asking me. And then I competed again over in London, which Janice and I went over to. Again, I didn't usually do about 12 weeks preparation for a show, where you kind of take your calories down and try and burn as much body fat off as possible so you're as lean as possible, and I didn't do any of that. I just kind of stuck a bit of tan on and ran on stage, and that was about it. And I came like fourth, I think, in that out of 20 odd people. And then I thought, right, I need to take this a bit more seriously, because I knew that as a personal trainer, if I do well at bodybuilding shows, they'll be able to pick up more clients because they'll then see that, and then I can use that as kind of a marketing kind of tool. Plus, I kind of enjoy it. I like kind of the challenge of seeing what I can do with my body with the knowledge I have.
I've seen a couple of competitions you've been in, but I've got more angry than Ben has.
Yeah.
And more upset after. It's like, yeah.
I was at the British finals for the UKBFF. Yeah, it was in Nottingham. And I qualified. I won my show to qualify for that. And I was going up against guys who were using steroids. And I placed 12th or something. And 26 guys. I can't remember exactly, but I was kind of like, you know what, I've tried. That's the best I can do. Whereas Janice was angry, really angry, because it wasn't fair that these guys are allowed to compete against me, who it should be tested.
They say you work so hard and everything, so it's frustrating, but
yeah,
you did well anyway.
I did alright.
Yeah. Yeah, all the time. I'm constantly saying this. Don't get any bigger. And then Ben's like, no, just a little bit more. My arm's like, no, definitely not. I can't fit any of your t-shirts on. So,
yeah.
Yeah. But no, definitely don't want him to get any bigger. Just stay the way you are.
I don't think I could get much bigger. It's kind of awkward enough to fit normal clothes. So that's why I wear tracksuit bottoms or shorts or trainers a lot.
You can't walk in jeans.
I can't walk in jeans. I can't walk upstairs. I said if there was a zombie apocalypse, the first thing I'd do is take my jeans off, because it's just hindering me completely. No, I wouldn't want to be much bigger, but there's obviously areas I'd like to work on and get better. So it's hard. It's just like you never feel like you're finished, and once you're realistically, if I looked at myself from 6 months ago, if I could look at myself 6 months ahead, into the future, I'd probably be like, oh, I'd be happy at that. But now that I'm there, I kind of like, oh, well, I want a little bit more and a little bit more. I think it's quite, when you start getting into the gym, you always want to improve on something. It's good and bad at the same time, because it keeps you driven, but at the same time, it's probably not the healthiest way to look at yourself. You never feel like it's enough, if that makes sense. but then at the same time, the drive to keep improving is what keeps me going. If I felt like okay, I'm finished, then there'd be no real motivation to train. So I think it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. I always knew nutrition was important to me, and it was different slightly to me. Growing up, obviously, during break times in primary school, I would have a Mars bar, whereas everyone else would have like an apple or something. And so I knew in my head that I wasn't exactly the same as everyone else, but I didn't really think about it too much. Once I started getting into personal training and I started, seeing how important food was, and to, reaching a goal, you can't hope to grow muscle if you're not eating enough.
I think it was probably, I don't know, when did you tell me?
6 months.
Was it?
Yeah, because you didn't notice. You didn't
Yeah, I
scar on my
didn't
stomach or
know,
anything.
like, I'd never heard of it before I met Ben. I didn't know what cystic fibrosis was, so, yeah, I didn't know Ben had it, so it was, whenever you told me, I didn't really understand what it was, so.
No, you saw me taking my tablets, I think.
Yeah.
And then you asked what it was for, because I didn't really care. I didn't really think it was... I'd rather she got to know me first rather than think, oh, this person has some illness that could be, well, contagious, because people don't know anything about it. Well, if people don't know anything about it, it's the first thing, can I catch it?
Yeah, they just hear disease and think, oh
Yeah.
dear.
Like, oh, how'd you get it? Can I catch it? I've been asked that a lot of times, so the last thing I thought, right, was this gorgeous girl. I'm not going to be straight in with, oh, I've got a life-threatening illness. Do you still want to go out with me? So it wasn't exactly the top priority. I think the biggest effect cystic fibrosis has on me is the mental, the mental aspect of it, the psychological aspect. The more I think about it, if I think about CF, if I'm just sitting alone by myself and I start thinking about it, it can take me pretty deep, and it can get pretty scary pretty quickly. And there's always in the back of my head that I know I've got it, but 95% of the time I don't think about it, but the 5% of the time I do think about it, it's pretty scary. But again, I try not to think about it because I don't want to give it any more time than it needs. So, as I've said probably a few times, I just don't like, nothing positive can come from me thinking about it, so I don't see the point. I could sit and dwell on it all day and just be a boring, miserable guy, and I'm not going to have many friends. I definitely wouldn't have a fiance. I wouldn't have, friends that would want to hang out with me. I would just not be a nice guy to be with. If one person decided to do something slightly different with their life because of that, someone with cystic fibrosis looked at me and thought, okay, maybe I can do, I can look like that, or I can be as healthy as everyone else. I'm thinking, that would be amazing if one person could do that. And then I started thinking about the whole superhero things, and I love all the superhero films and I love all the comic books, and I always have. But then once I started realizing, thinking about it more, I was like, I think I'm actually creating within myself something I would love to have seen when I was younger. I would love to have seen a superhero with cystic fibrosis, and I think that without really thinking about it, I'm kind of creating that for people with cystic fibrosis, who are much obviously younger than me, who could look up to me as kind of this superhero image. And I've had messages from people, parents, saying that, my daughter, even girls, are looking up to me and thinking, I am like this Superman. And I remember a message, a woman saying, my son just asked me if you are Superman. And I was just like, I hope he said yes. She said, yeah, I told him you were, which is, like, I remember actually ringing like a few of my friends and telling them that, because I was so proud of that. Like that's seriously, yeah, that's like that's pretty powerful for me. Yeah. Oh, you're good at that. That's when I talk about kids. In the back of your head, cystic fibrosis is a massive weakness. You know, in my head, it's a crutch, but instead of using it as a crutch, I've used it as a sword. You know, I've used it to essentially fight any form of weakness that it would, you know, it would attribute to, you know, to having it. So yeah, just be as strong as you possibly can. Again, everyone's human. I'm not saying that I don't have weaknesses and I'm this perfect person that does everything right, because I don't. No one does. But just make sure that the majority of your decisions are based on, is this going to make me stronger? Is this going to make me better? So yeah, just be strong.